All right, hey you guys, what's going on? This is Jonathan Bailey here, and I am live right now on day 14 of my 15-day webinars. And today I completely want to go left field because I feel that in order for you to understand who I am and what I'm trying to do, you need to understand a little bit about my past, where I was growing up, where I'm at, and where I'm going into the future. So today I want to talk about just who I am as a person and kind of tell you my story a little bit more in detail, because it's really going to make sense of why I'm even doing these webinars, and it's going to make sense of why I decided to go to this online career type of path. But before I get into that, I want to say that tomorrow is my last day, it's day 15 of my 15-day webinar, and I will be going over how to become a top producer. So you want to tune in tomorrow at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time and also 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. I've been doing 2 webinars a day for the last 15 days because I wanted to give as much value to the marketplace as I possibly can. And I knew that by me doing this, it was going to help a lot of people, and I've been getting great feedback from a lot of people. So I appreciate those who have reached out to me, who have sent me text messages, sent me emails, and sent me Facebook requests, and just letting me know that it has helped them out. So I appreciate you guys doing this. If you are watching this on the replay, thank you for taking your time out of your busy schedule. If you're watching this live, thank you as well. So I just wanted to kind of tell you that tomorrow's my last day, and I'm kind of excited because this is kind of like one of the first things that has really, I guess, in a sense, made me very vulnerable, because I didn't know if anybody was going to watch it. I didn't know if anybody was going to like it. I didn't even know if anybody would even tune into it. But from the feedback that I got, it's let me know that I am on the right track, and so that's really good. And another thing is I finally fixed my camera on my phone. I did like 3 days of not so good camera. But I fixed it now. It's up and running now, so that's really good. So I just want to kind of tell you a little bit about me. But before I do that, I'll tell you about my shirt. This is a shirt that I created for my t-shirt company. It's called Honey Bear, and it's pretty cool. The way I got this concept is I lived in Utah in 2005, which I'll go into here in a little bit, and it's the beehive state. And so I was thinking, put a bear on a hive and call it the honey bear. So yeah, so that's what I do. So that's part of my story here. I'm going to go ahead and get into. But you definitely want to tune in tomorrow because it will be the last day. I'm going to go really in depth on how to become a top producer and how you are able to scale up your business. Now, I can't guarantee anything about tomorrow, but what I can guarantee you is a formula that you're able to use to really help you do all of that. So let me kind of just go into my story. This is going to be a shorter webinar here today because I don't want to talk more than about 30 minutes about my story here. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. So I grew up in a small little town. Oh, so if I look over here, I have a little bit of notes because I want to make sure I stay on and hit everything. So that's what I'm looking over. So I grew up in a 4-bedroom house. 4-bedroom house, 1.5 bath, under 1,200 square feet. I'm actually there right now, so let me actually just show you. So this is actually the backyard where I grew up. So I'm at the house where I grew up here for a little bit. And so, just growing up here really made me, coming back here really made me think about what I wanted out of life. And, the more I talked to my parents and hang out with my parents, the more I realized that what I thought growing up was not accurate. And that's just one thing that, being an adult has really helped me to understand. Growing up, I grew up with 12 other siblings. I only grew up with 7 in the household with me at one time because of the age difference. Now, growing up, we were all about 2.5 years apart. And so we were relatively close to each other. But, growing up, I was not able to read as fast. I was not able to write. I had a speech impediment. I was in class until I was in 6th grade because it was really bad. And, sometimes when I get really nervous or get scared, it still comes out in me. But just by learning how to do that, I learned how to quickly get out of that mindset. One of the things that I never did learn to get out of the mindset was just being average. I remember around 9 or 10 years old, I was going to the doctor's office, and it was like a learning psychologist, and they wanted to put me on some medicine because I couldn't sit still in school. I couldn't read as well as the other kids. I couldn't write as well as the other kids, and so it was very damaging to see their 9, 10-year-old kid to my parents. And so they took me to the doctor. And I remember sitting outside the doctor's after all the tests, and I remember hearing the doctor tell my parents that I was always going to play catch up in life. That if I don't get on some medicine right now, then the rest of my life I will be average. And for whatever reason, being 9 years old, I remember that emotion. I remember that feeling, and I believed that feeling until I was 33 years old. Now, from 9 years old, I went through, elementary, believing it, junior high, and high school as well. But in junior high, I found love for track and field. We've always been like cross country people. We always did a lot of sports, but I really loved track and field in junior high, and I started excelling at it. And so throughout junior high and high school, I used my athletes to really counteract my disability. And so I would goof off in class. I was a class clown. I knew I could get away with it because they wanted me to win the track meets, or they wanted me to excel at track. And so I knew I could get away with this, so I didn't pay attention to a lot of my teachers, what they were saying in junior high and high school. And then throughout high school, I wanted to go to the NBA. I wanted to be NBA career, and that didn't happen. And so after high school, I didn't know what I wanted to do. I went to my godmother's house one day, and she just pretty much told me, "It's like, what do you want to do with your life?" And I said, "I don't know." And she's like, "Okay." She's like, "So what are you going to do now with your life?" And I said, "I don't know." And she said, "Okay, well, you need to become a certified nurse assistant, until you know what you need to do, because you need a steady job." And I was like, "No, that's okay." And she said, "No, you're going to do this." And I said, "Yes, ma'am." And within 6 weeks, I had my certified or CNA license. And after high school, I worked in nursing homes. I worked at the Western State, which is the loony bin, the psych area, I guess you could say. I worked with cancer patients. I worked with transplant patients. I worked with LVADs. People that hearts are failing, they actually have a portable heart battery that actually pumps it for them. LVADs. I worked with geriatric. I worked with a lot of different type of people. And so I've always been the type of person that can really, or that filled fulfillment on helping people. Now, after I was going through that, I still didn't know what I wanted to do. I still felt like it was a plastic floating in the wind. And so in 2005, I went to Utah, and I called my sister up and I said, "Hey, I need to get out. This is not working for me." She said, "Well, come out and visit." So I went out and visit July 4th weekend, and I came back to Washington State, and I realized that I needed to get out. And so I left. And so while I was there in 2005, I just kind of was doing the same thing, working as a, CNA, not really trying to progress in life. And then in like 2006, 2007, I really, wanted to change my life into something that was going to be fulfilling, something that was going to help not just me, but the masses altogether. And so I started putting out to the universe and asking for, an answer. And that came and my answer came in 2008. And a friend by the name of Daniel. Now, I met Daniel at a local sports event, and we just kind of clicked from the very beginning. He introduced me to all of his friends, and that was the really start of where I'm at today. So he was already big in personal development and spirituality, and seeing ghosts, talking to them, and things like that. And so it really intrigued me because they had a different perspective about life that I never heard about before, because I grew up Mormon, or LDS faith, and so my house that I grew up in was very closed-minded, not like closed-minded at all, but just like it was more of a religious household, and that was like the only thing that was allowed in the house. And so like hearing this, it has really helped me to kind of just get a different perspective on life. And so, we became fast friends, and for the next couple years, we partied Thursday through Sunday. We drank Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then even more on the weekend. But the whole time we were talking about politics, religion, and spirituality, and it was just fascinating to me. It was just so cool to learn something new. And even though you should never talk about, one, politics, two, religion, three, spirituality while drinking, but that was just what we did, and we did it for several years. And in 2010, I went out with a friend. I got into a car accident, so I no longer could be a certified nurse assistant, and so I became like everybody else, sitting behind a desk, living in my cubicle, gaining unhealthy weight. I gained about 35 pounds in a short period of time at one point. And I just knew that there was something different for me. But in 2010, after the car accident, I was laid up for about 60 days or so. And so I had a back brace on, I had a neck brace, like I had the whole works. It was really bad at that time. And so that was kind of like my first true life lesson was, hey, you need to start getting your act together. But I still didn't listen to what was happening to me. And so I decided, that now I have a little bit of money. Now I want to, start a t-shirt company. And that's where actually this came from. And so I started a t-shirt company called BearWearUT.com in 2012. And I spent about $9,000 setting everything up. And after launching it, within 90 days, it failed. Now, it failed for a lot of different reasons. And now I know the reasons why they failed. But I'll go ahead and get to that here shortly. So in 2012, I really took that hard. I took it as in, like, my pride and ego got hurt. And we all know once you start going down that rabbit hole, it's bottomless. Like, you just keep going down and down and down, and you can't figure out why. So I kept on doing the same thing. I was just drinking. I wasn't an alcoholic, but I was just drinking more. And then on the weekends, drinking more. So instead of it being Thursday through Sunday, it would be like Monday through Sunday type of drinking, And so it really got bad there for a certain amount of period of time. And then in the beginning of 2014, I was just like, I have to change. Like, I have to change. So I spent all of 2014 really looking for my next, I guess, my next lesson or my next phase in life. And so it took me 15 months to find it. And so I looked for investing in other companies. Utah is big about weddings and marriage and photos. And, so I started looking in those because I was like, hey, this is big around here. So why not I get a piece of the pie? I started looking into ice chips. I started looking at ice cream trucks, food trucks, because I have a really good friend who is great at cooking. He went to culinary art school in Utah Valley University, which is down south by Provo, Utah. And so he went there and everything like that, and graduated, and he was really good at cooking. So I was like, wow, we can go half on it, and really make a killing because he's really good. But that never panned out. I looked at just in putting my investment into other companies and just letting it grow, but those never worked out. And so this is 15 months of doing all of this. And then one day I was sitting at work and I was on my lunch break, so they gave us internet access. And I was going through what is called KSL, which is like the newspaper there in Utah. And I went to KSL.com, went to classified section, and I started going through the businesses for sale section. And I put instead of having the highest to the lowest, I put the lowest to the highest, like, price tag, so I can kind of see where all my money will be going and stuff like that. And all of a sudden, there's this little thing that says, do you want to make money online for $1? Or do you want to learn how to make money? And I said, sure, why not? I was like, I got $1. So I clicked in, put my information in, and that was pretty much my start of where I am today. And it's really crazy, though, because out of the 40,000 people that are active in my current company has made over $184 million in the last 4 years. But just out of the active affiliates, I've never heard a story where someone has came through a classified ad in a newspaper online and became successful online. And so it's kind of cool to know that so far I am the only one. Maybe there's another person out there. If you guys do know anybody, please let me know, because it's actually kind of cool to kind of talk about how we how we all started. And so that was kind of like the beginning of my new career. And I got a cell phone. Hey, let me call you back. Let me call you back. I'm on a webinar. All right, bye. I love having those phone calls because that is a prospect opportunity. And so I love having my phone ring off the calls. I think it's so dope. That's one of the reasons why I love this type of business. But anyways, so in January of 2015, I put my information in, and all of a sudden, within about 2 weeks, I joined a company online. Didn't know anything about marketing, didn't know anything about squeeze pages, didn't know anything about lead capture, lead magnets, lead capturing pages. I didn't know about anything about webinars. Like, I came from completely brand new start. Now, this is something that a lot of people do not know is I have succeeded online in quite a few areas, especially in the generating leads area, because that's a huge problem. One of the top 5 biggest problems that is out there is when somebody joins a business like I did in 2015. One of the things that I knew that I did not want to do was harass my friends and family, because to me as a business person, that it is not good to harass your friends and family about your opportunity, because 1, that's your dream, not theirs. 2, they're only doing it because you are, or they see you happy, and by week 3 they're just going to cancel their services. And then you imagine being all excited and all of a sudden you get all of these refunds. You know what that's going to do? That's going to start taking you down the rabbit hole again, and that's something that I didn't want to do. So I decided to not talk to my friends and family, not like harass them about it, but just kind of give them the opportunity to look at the opportunity that I have. And that's a major problem. A lot of people harass their friends and family. So that's one of the major problems that is out there. The second major problem that is out there is generating leads. In my current company, I've generated over 91 leads in 48 hours. That has put me on the leaderboards of out of the 40 active 1,000 affiliates, it got me to number 9. I finally cracked it after several different strategies and learning what doesn't work, learning what's worked. I finally cracked it. It really feels good to do that. And then another time in a different period, I generated 124 leads in a 72-hour period. And see, a lot of people don't know even how to generate leads. And so that's another major problem. The third major problem is how to create traffic to go to your opportunity, your videos, your articles, your sales page, whatever the case may be. Like, a lot of people don't know how to get people off of Facebook, let's say, to show them their opportunities. So there's a formula that you need to know that we teach on my team that will allow you to learn how to get people from one end to the other end and not lose focus in the middle. And that's the major problem as well. Another major problem is upselling. Upselling is where you get that forever money that I say, or that changing money. See, a lot of people believe that you need to be you're like born a salesperson in this industry. And I'm here to tell you that when I started, I didn't know anything. I didn't know anything about sales. I've always thought that selling was like this miraculous thing out there that God gave you that only for certain people, and that's why they became successful. I didn't know that I had the ability to do that. And it became so much easier when I finally connected with a mentor who really sat me down and showed me the formula of even how to do that. I actually did a presentation about 3 days ago, and I'll have the link below on YouTube, right below on YouTube, of how to upsell somebody. If you just follow the formula, you will be able to sell almost everything. Now, I can't guarantee you in that you're actually going to do it, because I don't know if you're actually going to follow or not. But it gives you the formula that will allow you to sell things, because each person you have to talk differently to. You can't talk to the same person as you did, you know, 3 other ones. Everybody's going to be a little bit different. That's why it's only a formula and a guideline, not a guarantee. But it will give you the ability to have that confidence within yourself to really upsell somebody. And that's a major problem within this industry. Another major problem, so the 5th one that I consider a huge problem, is closing. A lot of people feel that they need endless training on how to close somebody. But if you bring in somebody from the very first step and just provide tons of value, tons of value, tons of value, tons of value, and then when you call them to close them, it will be much easier, because now they understand why they need certain things, how certain things work. I mean, it's really no difference than in their current job. If they have one of, okay, you need this program, you need to talk to this department because of this reason, you need to talk to this person because they control like an IT section of it. Or from that IT, now you got to talk to HR because they control the overall legal ramifications of doing whatever the case may be. So if you explain to them throughout and giving them value at the same time, and your value trumps, hear this again, if your value trumps that end price tag of them coming in, going all in within your company, they're going to join you all day long, because your value outweighs whatever that cost is. So if your value is not outweighing the end result cost, then nobody's ever going to join you. And that's just one of the ways that people are not aware of when they close somebody. And so those are the 5 major problems. And this is something that has been a problem throughout the whole industry, excuse me, online and offline. If you understand these 5 things and you focus on these 5 things, and then everything will be a lot better for you, and you'll be able to succeed online. And those are some of the things I didn't know until I got with my millionaire mentor, who really sat me down and explained the game to me. It's like, if you want to be successful, these are the things that you're going to need. You're going to need a branding page. You're going to need to do 1 webinar a week, you know, that's giving nothing but pure value, and your value needs to be a couple grand's worth. And so I'm not talking about just little something, but they need to give a lot of value, because that's what people are looking for. And you need to solve people's pain and their problems. And if you're not solving pain and problem, then you're never going to get any money. And so he really just kind of taught me, you know, and educated me on exactly what I needed to do, which kind of brought me to where I am today. You know, over the last couple months, my email rate has been open tremendously. The standard is between 3 and 6. In February, it was like 10.7, which I'm so proud of myself, because I was never a writer. I was never a great communicator on paper. And so seeing that above average really makes me feel good. Generating sales, I'm generating leads. I've had $275 days. I mean, I'm really starting to pick up momentum, and that's exactly what I needed, you know, to really grow my business to that next level. You know, one of the things that he always talks about is, you know, anytime you open your mouth, it needs to be about a pain and problem. A pain and problem that somebody is currently having, and your solution is the problem to that pain. If you're not solving any pains or problems, don't even put it out there, unless it's about personal development. And so, which really makes sense though, because a lot of people, you know, they just kind of write little stuff here and there. They don't really tackle the pain and problem. Look at any successful person in your company. They always tackle the same things, whether it's learning a new Facebook strategy that's going to generate leads, learning how to close somebody, learning how to create a video that's going to really market themselves in this industry. If you look at all the leaders, all of them are differently, but then if you look at the bottom line, they're the same. And that's one of the things that you want to start doing yourself. Yes, it's going to take a little bit of money. Yes, it's going to take some time to get used to it. But once you start doing that, you will realize how easy that everything has become. You know, and since then, sorry, I lost my train of thought. And since then, so I've been online for about 16, 17 months now. And since then, I connected finally with the group. I belong to a team. We have 2,600, roughly 2,600 people on there. And there's about 10% of those who are constantly doing something in the group. Now, when it comes to online, since this industry is a volunteer type of industry, going to do everything once they get in. So that's why it's typically 10% of the total amount that actually do anything with any company, especially online. And so there's about 250 people on there that are active, and things are growing amazingly. You know, our vision for our particular team and our leaders that I look up to are freeing 100 families a year. Now that is tremendous. That is a bigger picture than just one person. And that's the whole point of doing this. Because we don't want our vision just to be about ourselves. We want our visions to include everybody that we run in contact with, everybody that's looking for an out in their current situation, or underpaid, or in the transition from their current job. Those are the type of people that we would love to help, so that way they learn this lifetime trade skill and they're able to bring it to their family and their generation and go off and do whatever they want. But by freeing 100 families a year from what a lot of people call the rat race, or the life as in whole, because the whole point is to come down to this earth and to live it, not to continuously work and not enjoy it. And so by doing this, it will allow them to, you know, enjoy their life, go on vacation, take 4-day trips. Instead of going on vacation trips, take business trips, because then you can write it off later on your taxes. Instead, since I've learned that, I've taken a few business trips myself, because it's so much easier rather than only taking 2 vacations a year and only having, what, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks of vacation, rather than working a couple hours a day and then freeing up your time to spend with your families or doing whatever you want. If you don't have a family, you can just go to the beach and just lay there under the sun and drink all day if you really wanted to. So it really doesn't matter. But just freeing 100 families is our group goal as a whole, because we definitely believe in helping other people to achieve what they want, and in return we will get what we want and help freeing other people and help freeing other people as well. You know, out of that, you know, my personal vision is to free 10 families a year, and in a sense, and also help them make an extra $1,000 a month while working part-time. Now, this is something that if you just follow the formula and follow the system, there's a lot of things out there that if people are like, oh, you can make $10,000 a month. One of the things that I have learned over the case of 4 months is, if you don't have any data that is able to get you to 10,000, you're never going to get there. I'm sorry, it is, because your subconscious mind, if you go from making $2,500 a month to 10,000, you say, I'm gonna make 10,000. Your subconscious mind has no data to back it up with, and therefore it's just gonna be like, ha, yeah, right, whatever. How you gonna make that 10? You can't even make 3,000, or you can't even make 2,800. How are you gonna make 10,000? And so on our team, we give you steps so you're able to take that will allow you to raise what you're making now. Let's just replace what you're making now. Once you replace what you're making now, let's create an extra $2,000 a month, and then an extra 1,000, and an extra 3, and let's push you a little bit more each time. And that will give you the data. So the more you hit your goals, the more you hit that milestone in your business and your personal life, the more your subconscious mind believes it. And business is 95% mindset. And so once you start believing exactly what you can start doing, then everything else just starts coming and coming. And then all of a sudden, next thing you know, instead of having a $10,000 month, you have a $13,000 month. And that's one of the ways that we teach here, especially on my team, is really understanding that you can't, well, not can't, but it's harder to jump from 2,500 to 10,000. Let's go ahead and replace your income that you're making now if you're working, and let's go ahead and scale it up. By scaling it up is really going to help you to determine and get the data that you're looking for as well. And so that's just a little bit about my team and things like that. And me personally, I am on track to freeing 10 families right now, and just creating an extra $1,000 a month. It's crazy though, because in the United States of America, people will divorce over 500 bucks. Pride and ego gets so hurt over 500 bucks. And so I looked at it and said, okay, I see a problem. Now I do have the solution for it. And so I can create an extra 1,000. Can you imagine what that extra $1,000 can do? That can allow you and your spouse and your family to go out for a weekend and not worry about the money, and just, you know, go out and enjoy each other's time, because that's something that you can never give back, is time. And so by just doing that, or taking your girlfriend or boyfriend out to a special restaurant that costs a couple dollars, that costs, you know, maybe $200-300 to eat there. But just doing that and appreciating each other's company is something that's amazing. And so I knew that I could do that by just creating $1,000 extra in somebody's pocket. And that's my goal with everybody that I bring in, is get them that extra 1,000. If they want to make 10,000, that I know if I can get them that 1,000, then that is a baseline for them to scale it up. And so it's not just like, oh, I'm not trying to have you help, or I'm not trying to help you get 10,000. It's like, no, let's create a baseline, let's create a foundation, because in this business, if you don't create a foundation, it's never gonna last. And I'm big on building a foundation that will last a lifetime. And if I can get that from you, then that's exactly what's gonna help you to scale your business up. So I appreciate you guys, you know, sticking in, watching this. You know, this is kind of different here for me, but I wanted to talk about, you know, my life a little bit and where I was going, or where I was, where I'm at, and where I'm going with it. Because a lot of people don't join businesses because of the company. They join it for people and see if they can attach to their vision. And I wanted to give you kind of an overview of what my vision is here today, because I believe that with any type of vision, anybody can get their vision as well. So I appreciate you guys. Again, you want to tune in tomorrow at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, because I am going over how to become a top producer in any company. It doesn't matter what company you're with. I'm going to show you the beliefs and attitudes that you should be having. I'm going to capture pages that you need to be using for cold, warm, and hot markets. I'm also going to throw in a couple bonuses as well. You guys are going to want to definitely come tomorrow at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. I'm really excited. And tomorrow is my last day of my webinar series. And I can say that it's been an amazing ride. I've learned a lot about myself. And I'm going to go into it. I'm going to make a video, about a 10-minute video, about what I've learned overall in this. So on like Thursday or Friday or something like that. So here, and this is day 14 of my 15-day webinar series of value training webinars. Again, thank you very much. And this is the shirt that I created in 2012. So, all right, guys, appreciate you. And I'll see you later. All right, bye.